Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back, and we're going to be talking about the new drift update coming to Forza Motorsport 7, and really, it's just the August update, but it includes so many great drift features that a lot of people, I think, are going to end up calling it the drift update. Now, it comes out in 2 days. It comes out this Wednesday. Now, I know updates for Forza Motorsport 7 normally release on a Tuesday, but this particular one is coming on a Wednesday. Now, in this video, you're going to mainly be seeing some explanations from the developers on what this update actually does, but you'll also be seeing some gameplay of actual drifting in Forza Motorsport 7 once these upgrades have been installed. The car they're going to be demoing it with is a Nova, and it's kind of an odd choice, but I think it's kind of a cool choice as well because they're demonstrating it on something other than an S chassis, which I would have expected them to demo it on something like an S chassis because a lot of people directly associate the S chassis with drifting, especially in, well, I was going to say especially in Forza, but really, they associate the S chassis with drifting anywhere, and so I'm actually really glad that they went with something besides an S chassis. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main topic of this video, which is the August update. Now, what you're seeing here is Forza Motorsport 7 running the August update, and as you can see, once you go into the platform and handling section, you have your brakes, your suspension, your sway bars, your cage, but once you go into your suspension, you have the drift springs and dampers option, which basically, it has a picture of an angle kit because that's what it is. It is an angle kit upgrade, and what this basically does is it gives you a race suspension with up to 60 degrees of steering angle, which is fully adjustable. So all the way backed off is whatever the car would have at basically on a race suspension. So all the way to the left is a race suspension as this car would come, and all the way to the right is 60 degrees. So if 60 degrees is too fast for you, if it switches direction too fast for you, you can actually cut it in half, cut it 3/4 back, cut it 1/4 back, and build it up as you go and figure out what you actually prefer in terms of steering angle and steering feel, which is a really big deal for Forza because a lot of, you've never been able to do that. Every single car in Forza steers differently, and as it should, because every single car is going to be different. But this allows you to really fine-tune that amount of steering angle that you want out of your drift cars, because previously you just had the steering angle that you were given to work with, and that was it. And that was a really big limiting factor in terms of the angle that cars could pull, and so on and so forth. So this is a really big step forward in terms of really being able to fine-tune your perfect drift car. Now, coming up next, we get to see this new update in action on the track. Now, with the steering, with basically the new steering angle kits, you're able to pull such big angles that it's honestly going to take you guys a lot of, maybe, I wouldn't say a lot of time to get used to, but it's definitely going to be something new for anybody that's been playing Forza for a while. Now, I do apologize, the skippiness of the frame rate, it's a little bit odd, and again, you have to remember this was taken from a live stream, so bear that in mind. Now, as he enters these corners, you can see that there are certain angles that he's able to reach that were otherwise not recoverable before. Now, throwing it into this corner here, this all starts to look pretty normal until it gets about halfway through the corner and you see what he's able to save. Now, when you're able to save an angle like that, it's absolutely huge in terms of what you can do with combos, with tandems, with everything, basically. Now, as you can see, also, the UI is a little bit different, and on the right, we have angle, we have speed, and we have line. Now, basically, those are the 3 new categories to which your drifts will be graded on. This is the new scoring system. Now, the scoring system has been completely rebuilt, and they said that one of the major reasons why it was rebuilt, and one of the reasons why they had to rebuild it, was because they were finding that people were able to go through certain sections super slowly, and still get massive scores, but they want you to keep that speed because that's how real drifting would be judged, or one of the ways real drifting would be judged. Now, as you also saw back there, he actually tapped the wall and didn't lose his combo, so that's another big thing, is they've added the ability to do wall taps and not lose your combo. And you saw right there, he was basically at 90 degrees, and he was able to recover it and just transition back the other way. The angles he's able to reach are absolutely incredible and are really unheard of in terms of a Forza game, especially in just an off-the-shelf car that has a modification part, quote-unquote, installed on it. Now, all of these things, of course, play a very big role in how drifting will be received now and accepted in the community now. So when I say that, I mean there will be a new system to learn. There will be a new type of drifting to learn. And I think it will be a lot more accuracy-based. It'll be a lot more skill-based. You won't really be able to go in and just throw the car wildly everywhere expecting to get a ton of points. This is definitely a lot more based on how well you can hold that line. And, you know, thinking about that, it makes me curious as to how leaderboards are going to work now, because in theory, if you max each one of those out for the entire track, there is technically a score cap. However, I don't know if anybody will be able to reach that score cap, because there are certain lines on certain tracks that I just don't know if it will be possible to please the system entirely. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are certain areas of that system that you won't ever be able to fully please, but I'm sure somebody at some point will be able to pull off a perfect score. And also, they've taken out the actual drift sections of the track. You can link the whole track now in one combo if you're able to. If you're able to just manji back and forth down a straightaway, you can, and you can hold your score by doing that. So that, in my opinion, really opens up this dynamic, this kind of almost like a dynamic range of scoring potential that you have on any given track. So you can basically do whatever you want to maintain that combo, and you can just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going, really, as long as you see fit and as long as your driving ability and your car will allow you. So I think that that's really cool, because it will reward really skilled drifters by allowing them to continue their combos through areas that maybe novice or intermediate drifters wouldn't necessarily be able to continue their combos through. So this will also, I think, make leaderboard drifting a lot more competitive, and I think that people that were not interested in points drifting before may actually migrate over and start trying out the points drifting and taking it a little bit more seriously, because it follows that line and because it's a lot more uniform now, and it actually has angle and line and speed all as factors and characteristics of the judging and scoring system. So that, again, in my opinion, will bring some of the more serious drifters, or could bring some of the more serious drifters, over into the drift, the points drifting arena, I guess, if you want to use that wording. But because a lot of the people that do actual battles and things like that are really not interested in points drifting. They really don't care about the points system. They're like, I would rather be judged by an actual human judge rather than this point system. Now, I understand that completely. I completely understand that, because it's a lot more realistic and it makes a lot more sense in terms of total realism and total immersion. But on the flip side of that, if you just want to go and mess around and practice and you know, have a little bit of competition while you're doing that, this system really does provide a good backup for that, because it actually factors in a lot of things that those real human judges would factor in terms of actually scoring someone's drifting ability. So in the long run, I would say I'm definitely excited to see where this update goes, and I'm definitely excited to see how people receive it. You can see that if you do go off the track, your points will disappear, I mean, as usual, but at the same time, they also did say that if you put 2 wheels off is not a combo killer anymore. 2 wheels off, you could still retain your points. Now, 3 or 4 wheels off, you're going to lose your combo. But you put a couple wheels off the track, it's not going to be a big deal. Also, go for a massive angle on entry. That's not going to kill your score either. So if you go for a 90-degree entry, your score is going to be fine. It's not going anywhere. And that was a big thing for me, because I think that that's also something that, I mean, for one, I know that there's been a lot of times when I've gone, you know, way sideways into a corner, and I've been like, dude, that looks so good, but I sacrificed my combo to do it. Or I was upset because I lost my combo in the process of doing it. So this, I think, will honestly be a really good way to provide people with that extra bit of difficulty and that extra bit of room to grow with their drifting skill, because once you reach the peak of what you can do right now, there's not a whole lot more you can do. I mean, there's really not a whole lot more you can do in terms of technique. You just have to figure out how to, it's all about points maximization. And this is still about maximization of your points, but in a different way and in a much more realistic way, because the game actually judges it a lot more along the lines of how you would judge real drifting. So, and I know that there's going to be people out there that are like, that's not how you judge real drifting. Real drifting is judged like this. And yes, I completely get that. Real drifting is not judged exactly like this, 100%. But the update itself has factors that real drift judging does actually have. So when you think about it in that regard, it does bring it closer to real-world drifting and real-world drift competition. And I think that it's a good thing because not only will we be able to play around with those Formula Drift cars that we saw in the previous video in Forza Horizon 4, we'll also be able to play with them in Forza Motorsport 7 soon. So those are going to be a blast with this new update, especially considering the fact that things like high-angle entries will not disrupt your score, and neither will wall taps, as long as the wall taps themselves are well controlled, let's say. But the biggest thing is you could pick pretty much anything to put these on. Pick pretty much anything to put these on, put it on the car, and just go for it. Have a blast, and just go nuts. I can't wait to put these on an E46. These are going to be amazing on an E46 M3. They're going to be amazing on an S15. They're going to be amazing on an FDRX7. They're going to be amazing on an E36, any 240, any S chassis. You pick it, and pretty much you can install this upgrade on it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and this overview of the Forza Motorsport 7 update coming this Wednesday. And if you enjoyed, make sure to slam that like button. Tell me in the comments below what y'all thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later.